hustle. Some people had both, a dangerous combination. A couple steps ahead of any sticky situation. Know when to make the move and know when to stay and be patient. And just because you're flesh and blood doesn't make you related. She used to tell me a story about the amazing glaze. Him and your pops was like brothers, but that nigga was crazy. Me in early, late 80s, Brooklyn the murder capital, where it wasn't frowned on if you had to bust a cat or two.
Rapper Tory Lanez was stabbed 14 times in a California prison and rushed to a hospital. Officials say that attack happened Monday morning at California's State Correctional Institution. Lanez is currently serving 10 years for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in 2020. His lungs collapsed after that attack, but his team says he's now breathing on his own and he's in good spirits. The motive for this attack is unclear. An investigation is now underway. Lanez's team thanked fans for their prayers and support.
Hey, man, this is crazy, man. You got this brother, Tory. He just got stabbed up, almost died. Got stabbed up in prison 14 times. And the brother's in prison for something that he didn't do. Now, you know what? But when you sit back and you think about it, because he didn't want to say a word. He didn't want to snitch. He didn't want to tell. He didn't want to say anything like, look, man, I didn't shoot this girl. What happened is I was trying to prevent her from getting shot. So what I did is I grabbed the person hand who was doing the shooting. The gun dropped. And when the gun dropped, it wound up misfiring, hitting Meg. But once again, being that he kept quiet, being that he didn't snitch, that man got sentenced to 10 years. Sentenced to 10 years for something he didn't even do. And then he almost died in prison. Hey, folks, listen, man, crime doesn't pay. First of all, don't get caught up in that criminal world and get away with, like people, you can't tell, you can't do this, you can't do this. You know what? Tory is not a hero. Tory is not a stud. Tory is a fool. Because basically right now, because he could have lost his whole life for what? By keeping his mouth shut. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, support. One love.
By a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Ms. Pete, did not shoot at Ms. Pete, or did not assault Ms. Pete.
Associated himself with probably the most ruthless and notorious cocaine crack enterprise in the city, that being Howard Happy Mason and Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols.
NYPD rookie police officer was murdered, executioner style. And as I'm listening to that, I'm like, whoa.
You actually dealt with Brian Blaze-Lives, huh?
I dealt with him years ago, back in the 80s, early 90s. I was when he was arrested by my partner back in those days for several murders himself.
Not bad. I was given to me by a police officer in New York called Matt Byrne, whose son was gunned down by these drug dealers up there in New York City.
Blaze was probably within the top 10 people in the city, but I'm going to say that he was probably one of the top 2 or 3 in Brooklyn. Drug dealers, and and control the drug organization.
And you know what I did? When I got the phone, I told my man, the next time we see him, he's out of here.
Yeah.
Less than 12 hours, that nigga was dead.
Yeah,
Is this the second person you murdered?
No. Because, like, right now, if you're going by the timeline, by that time, there's a few more before him.
You know, I heard so many good things about you. What I really like is, I know you're a tough guy. And I've known that for quite a while. And you changed your life, and you're coming around, and you're right. We're from New York. We're New Yorkers. No matter what color you are, no matter what religion you are, no matter what you are. You know, we're New Yorkers.
Well, he was a drug kingpin himself. He was a drug lord himself back in those days. And he operated out of Brooklyn and East New York. And, you know, he committed a lot of violent acts himself. So if anybody knows the streets, I mean, he knows the streets.
Tottenham.
Yeah, you gotta worry about them guys. But we only have to worry about those guys in Vanderveer and stuff. You know, we all knew Glaze and Tutton, all those guys.
Yeah.
I know Glaze, Supreme Team. What up, Glaze? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, inside the mind of the killer, the Brian Glaze Gibbs story.